Today we'll start from question number 2 and we'll understand how exactly we will do or solve question number 2. It's very easy. Uh, Question number 2, what it is saying, that the following numbers are obviously not perfect squares. So it is quite understood that the some of the numbers are there which are not perfect square, but in this case you have to give a reason. So question number 2 you will all do on yourself. The only things that I will put you the guidelines that how exactly you have to do it. Some of the numbers I have chosen, that is, this is number 1, this is number 3, and this is number 5, and the rest part you can do it by yourself. It's very easy. Okay, the first thing that you have to know is that we have learned yesterday that if any number, if it is a perfect square, then it will always end with a unit digit as 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. So any number, if you see that if a number which could be a perfect squares will always end with these digits. So I've written also the square of numbers may end with any one of the digit. That is a perfect square number. Okay, that is either 0, either 1, either 4, either 5, either 6, either 9. Now 0 is something I will make you understand. 0, it's not only 1 0, 2 0, 3 0. So there has to be some rule about this 0. But apart from that, if any number is carrying 1, 4, 5, 6 and 9 in the unit digit, so then there is a chances that that particular number could be a perfect square. But if you do not see this, these numbers have no existence in the unit digit, so you will say no, it cannot be a perfect square. So every time you see this particular number, so what is the number in the unit digit? 7. So you say 7 is not mentioned here, so you will see as this particular number in the unit digit 7 is there, so it is not a perfect square, as because this is the reason. Okay, so you will write 7 carries 7 as a unit digit, so it is not a perfect square. This is what you have to write, and this is the common part that I have written for each and every sum. Okay, as because the square of numbers, perfect squares numbers may end with any one of the digits. Okay, the similar reason you will give for this also, as because 7, 9, 2, 8 carries what? 8 as a unit digit, isn't it? In the unit digit, what is there? 8. So 8 is not mentioned here. Okay, so it is not a perfect square. Okay, so this is very easy. Just by looking at the unit digit, you can straight away answer why these numbers are not a perfect square, as because any number which is a perfect square will always end with a number as 1, 4, 5, 6 and 9, and even 0 also. Now let's see what is the story about 0. Now you see that the last digit is 0, but still I'm saying it is not a perfect square. Why? 0 is there, but I'm saying this is not a perfect square. In case of 0, students, you will always see how many numbers of zeros are there. How many numbers? Okay, that is how many numbers of zeros is there? 1, 2, 3. So it is not in an even number. Okay, so 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 is an odd number. So you have to count that how many zeros are there. And if you see that number of zeros is in the even number formation, then only you will say that this is a perfect square number, or this could be a perfect square number. Okay, so what you will say that since the number of zeros are not in the even number not in the even number form, so this is not a perfect square. Okay, so for 0 you have to write this. Okay, and you have to always count that whether this, how many zeros are there, and if it is not in the even number formation, then it is not a perfect square. Suppose this number would have been like this also. So how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4, yes, 4. 4 is an even number. So we can say that yes, this number could be a perfect square number. Okay. I hope you have understood question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. 3 is very, very easy, students. Now I have just written all the sums of question number 3, and in question number 3 they have said they're asking that square of which of the following would be the odd numbers. Now if they're asking to square each of the number, and you have to check that the resultant number for which of the cases the resultant number would be an odd number. Now I have already discussed the property of numbers. That is, I said that in my introduction video that square of even number is always what? Even. Similarly, square of odd number is always odd. So if you see that the number is even and even, so the square of that even numbers will be always even. And if you see the number is odd, so the square of that number would be always odd. Now what is the easiest way to see is that which number is odd. Now how to find it out, how to make a judgment that any number is odd or not? Just by looking to the unit digit. So if the unit digit is divisible by 2, then it is a even number, and if it is not divisible by 2, then it is an odd number. So this is odd number. Okay, the square of this number obviously will give me an odd number only. Now this number is what? 6. 6 is divisible by 2, so that means this number is an even number. So it's quite obvious that if we do the square of this number, we'll get the even number only. Now what about this one? The last digit is odd, isn't it? So it is an odd number. So it is odd. It's not divisible by 2. So it's not divisible by 2 means this whole number is an odd number. So if we do the square of this number, we'll get odd number. Now the last number is what about the last digit? 4. So 4 is divisible by 2. So when this number is divisible by 2, that means the entire number will be divisible by 2. So this is an even number, and the square of this even number will be always what? Even number. So we have already said the answer. So which of the numbers will give you the odd numbers? So these are the numbers. That is all the odd numbers. The square of these two numbers will give us the odd numbers. Okay, so you will write that 431 and 7779 will give the square of the square of 431 and 779 will give the odd numbers as square of odd numbers is always odd. So this is a statement that you have to write. Okay, and this two number will give the even number, and this two number will give the odd number. The square of this two number will give the even number, and the square of this two will give the odd number. Okay, so write it properly. Okay, so this is today's assignment, students. Question number 2 and question number 3. So submit it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you and take care.